Welcome back to another episode, all. Throughout this episode, I'm going to discuss about a big group of charlatans on the internet, on social media, trying to play money scams on you. As I've been on social media, I've kept seeing advertisements of fake cures to autism. People who claim they can cure your children of autism, but they actually can't, but are just after your money. Such as one of them seems to call itself stem cell therapy. I keep seeing this advertisement, but they are direct liars. Those who do this advertisement. Evidence of this is, on their first advertisement, they wrote a story out, a personal story, and at the end they put an illustration of a boy. And then the next time I saw this same advertisement, they wrote the same story out, copy and pasted, but put an illustration of a girl at the end. So each time, even though the story was same word for word, that's how we know that it was a lie. That this advertisement is lying. It's not actually telling you the truth. And in this stem cell therapy, it doesn't tell you the price on the advertisement of what they're going to charge you, nor does it tell you the devastating side effects of stem cell therapy. Stem cell therapy can cause things as severe as heart attacks on your children. They have such negative effects, but the advertisers don't tell you anything about these. I'm just going to read a story out. Quackery writes, as more and more parents of children with autism have been drawn into anti-vaccine campaigns and the pursuit of unorthodox biomedical therapies, I have become increasingly concerned at the damaging consequences of the quest to defeat autism. The movement that has advanced under this banner on both sides of the Atlantic seeks to redefine autism as an epidemic disease caused by vaccines or some other, as yet unidentified environmental factor. Despite the lack of scientific support for this theory, it has acquired the character of a dogmatic conviction for many who uphold it. In the face of all contradictory evidence, parents who share this faith are subjecting their children to treatments for which there is no coherent scientific rationale. In a phone conversation in late November, Laidler told me it was something around 2003 that he experienced what he terms his awakening. I was on the speaking circuit, talking to parents about these miracle cures, meeting Andy Wakefield and some of these other people, and realising they were slimy charlatans. These people were almost evangelical in their outlook, saying, we're going to save your child. I knew a lot of physicians, and I'd never heard one of them say they were going to cure someone. Almost by accident, Laidler says he and Anne discovered the diet they'd put their son on didn't work. He was gluten-free, and we thought it was a miraculous cure for our son, because he'd made pretty dramatic strides from the age of 3 to 4. We were starting to see real progress, but on a trip to Disneyland, he grabbed a waffle off the table and ate it before we could stop him. Doctors had told us that one drop of gluten would cause a dramatic relapse. We had been told anecdotal stories that a speck of wheat bread would cause an autistic child to have weeks of bad behaviour, and nothing happened. Jensen said, if treatments like chelation or vitamin B supplements or gluten-free diets cured or even dramatically reduced the symptoms of autism, there would be a lot of excellently executed, randomised controlled trials carried out and published in reputable peer-reviewed journals. But there are not, she said, and it's because we can't find that persistent evidence. Plus, the difficulty with doing this kind of research is that families are often giving their autistic child 3, 5, 10 different interventions at the same time. End of quote. So we already know that all these food diets that go on are not cures to autism. If you go onto the actual health services websites and ask about autism, they will all confirm there is no cure to autism. No cure is known. And when it comes to medicine, whether it's through herbal remedies or pills, there is no one size cures all. There's no one medication that cures everyone with the disability, regardless of what the disability is. And that's when they've got multiple different medications for the same condition, because there is no one that works for all. So while they're putting on there that this works for everyone, I can assure you it doesn't, and that's according to medicine specialists. That is. There's another one by someone called Patrick Nemechek, which is going around, called the Nemechek Protocol. And you can even see just by questioning this that this person, Patrick Nemechek, is full of lies. The scientists are more than certain that there is a genetic component with autism. But Patrick Nemechek goes telling people autism has nothing to do with genes. There's nothing genetic involved in autism, is what he goes claiming. We all know by now that there is no association between vaccines and autism. We know that you don't cause autism by vaccination, but Patrick Nemechek goes preaching that vaccines cause it. Even though he's a medicine specialist himself, Patrick Nemechek, he goes claiming his model is a one-size-fits-all. And when we look at his product, we come to see so many suspicions on it again. Like when we look at the front cover of his book, it's covered in ableism. It's called The Nemechek Protocol, How to Recover from Autism and Other Developmental Disorders. Now, there's quite a few things to cover there. First of all, in the middle is a love heart with 4 jigsaw pieces put together. That's the sign that he thinks that we were broken and his remedy can fix us. So we've already got signs of ableism there. The fact it's called the Nemechek Protocol, he's named it after himself. When I researched his place of where he does this, apparently only his family are employed to work for him. He's been cut off from the medical system, but he charges the patients for insurance. His service does not get insured. The Food and Drug Administration does not approve of the Nemechek Protocol. He claims that the Nemechek Protocol cures autism, but why on the title, if autism is a developmental disorder, why does he put autism and developmental disorders if all of them are developmental disorders? Why not say the Nemechek Protocol for schizophrenia and other developmental disorders? Why not the Nemechek Protocol for Down syndrome and other developmental disorders? Why autism? What we say about autism is the fastest growing developmental disability. We say that it's got the fastest rise in diagnosis rate, that the rate of diagnosis is persistently increasing, and how much money these people offering these cures out to you get depends on how many autistic people get diagnosed. So by putting autism there on the front of his book is attracting more and more people. If it was just developmental disorders, it wouldn't attract many people. He'd get very few people to purchase his book. And the fact it's only being sold on Amazon, again, it's not recommended by the National Health Services. I'm just going to read out what the health services say to give clues about fake cures. Right. They say that there are some warning signs that may suggest a treatment is fake. 1. It claims to cure or help people recover from autism. 2. It claims to work in most people and have quick results. 3. Personal stories are used to claim it works rather than medical evidence. 4. Words like miracle, faith, and trust are used. 5. It can be done by anyone without any training or qualifications. And 6. It costs a lot of money. And that's what all these advertisements are doing, is they are charging you money. And then, since these are actually charging money, don't you see any injustice in this? Such as in this stem cell therapy, if you wanted to have it done to your child, you would have to pay $10,000. But how many parents can afford $10,000 to cure a child of autism? There was another one where they do MRI scanning on the head for 20 minutes. That one, it cost you $300 for 20 minutes. Every 20-minute session, you have to pay $300. It's NemoCheck protocol. Even though you can get the supplements just from any store, he designs his own making, pretends it's a better kind of thing for it, and he sells that for a higher price to make a profit. So he found that all these people offering cures to you are actually charlatans. There still is no cure to autism whatsoever. So what I advise you is, don't just go purchasing any kind of cure from what's been advertised on the internet or recommended to you by personal stories. Make sure you actually speak to a doctor, to your doctor who knows your child's medical history, because when it comes to medical matters, some treatments are not suitable for individuals with a specific disability or any other kind of condition. For example, there's certain things which I'm not allowed to consume because I have epilepsy. It's not safe for me to consume alcohol, for example, because that will increase and trigger epileptic attacks. So I get advised not to consume that. And then if your child is on any other medications can interact with each other, such as I consume melatonin and my medication for my epilepsy, but when I take my epilepsy drugs at the same time as melatonin, it was causing me some kind of bad nightmares. The medications were interacting with each other. So if you don't have the qualifications, if you're not a medicine specialist, if you don't know how different disabilities interact with each other, make sure you actually seek medical approval. Make sure they are actually recommended by the health services and not just people online selling them to you. There is no autism epidemic going on, as these people like to tell you. They tell you this because they want to fearmonger you. Fear mobilises. It mobilises you to use your money if they frighten you. By saying things like, your child's got no future, or your child will be institutionalised. They're just saying these frightening things to you to make you purchase their products. But why don't they tell you any of the negative side of it, such as the side effects? So this should arouse great suspicion in you concerning all of these cures. I advise you to be very sceptical each time you come across one of these cures. Actually question it. Ask questions about it and do some of your own independent research. Such if it's the NemoCheck protocol, don't just type NemoCheck protocol, but actually look up the substances like olive oil which he uses, inulin, and so on, and actually research those separately. Actually research them. Don't just go accepting the testimonials of other parents as an easy way to refute his claims. For example, Patrick Nemechek is he claims that something called small intestine bacterial overgrowth is the cause of autism. But if that was the cause of autism, why are specialists still looking for the cause of autism, if that is the cause of it? And then to prove that it's not the cause, that it's telling you lies there, is we've got non-autistic people who suffer from small intestine bacterial overgrowth who are not autistic and who don't become autistic. So they had the cause of autism according to Patrick, so why didn't they become autistic? I'm autistic, but what caused my autism? Because I've never suffered from small intestine bacterial overgrowth. So what caused my autism? So that already shows that SIBO, vaccines, they're not the cause of autism. They're just saying that to try and persuade you that they are experts. We know with certainty now vaccines and diets, there's a lot of diets going on, are neither the cause nor the cure to autism. And we know that the rising rate of diagnosis is down to a change in the criteria of how they've broadened the spectrum, of how they've made it so broad now that more people can be diagnosed. So I strongly advise you, 1, be sceptical. 2, actually seek medical approval from your doctor who knows your child's medical history. 3, actually research it for yourself. And always remain sceptical. As soon as you let go of skepticism, as soon as you stop being critical, that's it, you begin to enter dangerous territory. So I advise you, even what I'm saying right now, the words which I've said, I advise you, research my claims. Don't just take my claims for granted. Here's the rule which scientists follow. If they come across any evidence that supports their prior beliefs, they say to look at it again. So look at it again and skepticize it more. Be more skeptical of it. But if you receive evidence that opposes your prior beliefs, explore it. Pay more attention to it. And actually say, does this actually override what you think is evidence? Because as where it was said, who's to say that it was actually these food substances that caused these differences? Who's to say it wasn't one of the other interventions that was being done? Like we've seen ABA cause behavioural changes, so who's to say that the behavioural changes were not done by behaviour therapy? So you've always got to ask questions. Don't fall for these charlatans who are just after your money. I'll talk more about the autism industrial complex in a later episode of how autism has become more of a fulcrum where people can make incentives from it, but it is now more of a financial model. Just about anyone can profiteer on autism now. For example, say anyone who's making YouTube channels, since people can make money on YouTube or money on Facebook, they can talk about autism, as am I, and if they're doing it to make money off a YouTube channel, they've just used autism as a money-making opportunity. If you look at my shout of this Neurodiversity, which came from the autistic community, this t-shirt is more expensive than plain t-shirts. So whoever produced this t-shirt I'm wearing just made a profit by purchasing it. I've gone and consumed someone profiteering. So make sure you're careful. Always seek medical approval from a doctor who knows your child's medical history. If you found this interesting, please hang around as I will be talking more about these things in the future. If you made it this far, thank you for listening.